guys, welcome back to day 6. I almost said day 5. Day 6 of Best in Beauty Week 2018, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my best eyeshadows and eyeliners for 2018. And like my video that I posted yesterday, this is such a huge undertaking. I have so many eyeshadow palettes and I have so many that I love, so many that I discovered this year, that it made this video really hard to narrow down. So I'm just going to share with you guys everything that I fell in love with. First, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the eyeliners because I don't have as many eyeliners as I do eyeshadows. This shouldn't come as any surprise, but my favorite eyeliners for 2018 are the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Pens in Ultra Black and Deep Brown. Now, I did also mention the CoverGirl Get In Line liquid liners like at the beginning of the year. Like, I was liking those, and I do like those, but honestly, I just go back to these. Like, they are just the best. They're super long wearing. They're super easy to use. Like, I can just get the perfect wing with these. Like, sometimes when I would use the CoverGirl liquid liners, I guess it's because I'm just not used to it. Sometimes my wings would look awesome, and then other times they'd look like crap. But I feel like with the Physicians Formula, it's always good every time. So I have very few bad winged eyeliner days whenever I use these. So I just stick to these. And these are dupes to the Kat Von D Tattoo eyeliners. I'm sure you guys probably know that by now because these have been around for a while. And I know so many people mention that, but just want to throw that out there. So pencil eyeliners. These two eyeliners here are great liners to use in your waterline to just brighten up your eye looks. So like today I use this Rimmel Scandalize in Nude, and this is my favorite nude pencil liner to use, you know, in my waterline to just brighten up my eyes. And then I started using this liner this year. I saw Emily Noel use this in her waterline and it looked really pretty. But this is the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlighter, and I used to only use this as like a brow highlight or like an inner corner. About poking myself right in the eye. Inner corner highlight. I just got it on my lashes, but I started using it, you know, as a waterline, you know, to brighten, and it works really good as that. It's really pretty. So either one of these I would recommend to use for like a brightening product in the waterline. And for my pencil liners, I didn't really use like my brown and black pencil liners that much this year. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what, but a lot of times I don't like it when I use a really dark eyeliner on the waterline. I just feel like it really closes off my eyes. So most of the time I would use these if I wanted to use something on my waterline. But if you do like to use a pencil in your waterline that's like a black or a brown, I highly recommend these. These are so good, super long wearing, super creamy. These are also great liners to use to smoke out. These are the Wet n Wild On Edge long wearing eye pencils in the dark brown color and the black. So those are my go-to black and brown pencil liners. And then when it comes to colored eyeliners, because those were the other eyeliners that I did use quite a bit this year, and I love this Go To eyeliner from NYX. This is the Slide On Glide On pencil in Glitzy Gold. It's one of those liners that you can use it in the waterline and it doesn't really darken up. It doesn't make it too dark, but whenever you look down, it just catches like that gold, that metallic gold color. So it's really pretty on the waterline. I love the NYX Slide On Glide On pencils. This one in Glitzy Gold, Golden Bronze, and I think the other one's called Jewel. It's more of like the purpley color. I use those the most, and I think that they are really beautiful. The Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencils, like the NYX Slide On Glide On, they are dupes to these Urban Decay pencils. So, you know, if they're similar colors, I would just say get the NYX ones, but I know Urban Decay has so many colors in these Glide On pencils. So if you need a specific color, I do recommend these. Like, they last forever in the waterline. They're such great quality pencils. So, and I discovered these this year, and I know these have been around forever. But those are the pencil liners that I recommend, and liquid liners. The Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer this is such a great eyeshadow primer. This is comparable to like the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I do like the Urban Decay Primer Potion, but I mean, I like my drugstore ones just as good, so I just don't buy that anymore. It's just, there's no point. Like, why am I gonna spend the money when I can just get something cheaper that's gonna do the same thing? So this primer, and then at the beginning of the year I was using the CoverGirl Lid Lockup, which is also awesome, but I went through that, so then I started using this. So it's such an amazing eyeshadow primer. I do feel that that one is slightly a little bit more tacky than this. They keep your eyeshadows lasting all day long and vibrant, keep them from creasing. So yeah, highly recommend both of those eyeshadow primers. I mean, I also used to love the Milani eyeshadow primer, but I cannot use it because it irritates my eyelids. So that's also a great one if you don't have sensitive eyelids or sensitive skin. On to, I guess, cream shadows. The Maybelline Color Tattoo in Bad to the Bronze. I kind of rediscovered this product this year, but okay, so the one that I had, it dried up, so I went out and bought a new one, and I forgot how much I love this. This is such a great product to just throw on your eyelids and just be done, like just a one eyeshadow look, and it lasts on your eyelids all day long. It's such a beautiful bronze color. And then sometimes if I want to intensify it, I like to go over top of it with this Wet n Wild Single Shadow in Nutty, and I just think these two paired together are so nice. And I don't know what it is about this eyeshadow in Nutty, because it's just like a basic bronze taupe color. I mean, I'm sure I have this color in one of my other palettes, but there's something about this one that's just so good. So I recommend those two together. And then the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows. These things, if you've never tried these before, they are so good. They are just super intense, really beautiful. Like, they almost have like glitter in them in a way, because they're just super metallic on your eyelid, and they just look beautiful. These apply best with a finger or with like a concealer brush. But my favorite colors is Eternal Sunshine, which is a gold, Amber Rush, which is a rose gold, Ice Latte, which is kind of like the color that I have on my eyelids. This isn't the color I have on my eyelids, but it's just like a cream color. And then this one here in Bronzed Taupe, which is another bronzy color, but this is a darker bronze than like Nutty. Nutty is more taupe than this. So that's what I'm saying, like with Nutty, it's just like a unique taupe shade. You would think it would be more common in palettes, but it's kind of not. I guess this is another category, glitter shadows. So towards the end of this year, me, you know, doing holiday makeup looks and stuff like that, I really discovered some beautiful glitter shadows, which the Stila Glitter and Glow, I just love these. I think they are so beautiful. I know that they can have a little bit of glitter fallout. Compared to a loose glitter, these are so good because it does keep most of the glitter on your eyelids. I mean, you might have a few kind of glitter specks, but I mean, it's glitter. You're gonna have some glitter fallout. These two are my favorite. This one in Diamond Dust, and then this one in Kitten Karma. I tend to use these two the most, but they are so beautiful. The Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Shimmer Liquid Shadows in Goldilocks and Cashmere Love. These things are dupes to the Stila glitters. I don't have a Stila glitter that is like the Cashmere Love. It's like a bronze with silver glitters in it. So I don't know if Stila has one like that. They probably do. But this one in Goldilocks is a dupe to the Stila Gold Goddess, their glitter and glow shadow. So if you're looking for cheaper alternatives, get these. They perform the exact same way as the Stila. And I've just been so impressed by those. And then another really awesome glitter shadow is the Flower Beauty Warrior glitter shadow, and this is in the color Balm. They also have several other colors, like they have a purple one, a green one. They have another one that's like a pinky color, which might be a dupe for Kitten Karma. I don't know. I always wanted to go back and get the pink glitter one, but I just never did go back to Ulta and get it. But This Warrior Glitter Shadow is just so beautiful. I love the applicator on this, even better than the Stila or the Wet n Wild, because it comes to a point, so it's super precise. You can just apply it straight from the wand. And also with this formula, I don't have any glitter fallout with this, so it's crazy that this doesn't have any glitter fallout, but it is so good. It's just like a super like intense yellow gold. It's just really beautiful. And then I guess I should have included this in the liners. I feel like I'm not very organized with this Best of Beauty. But this is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Eyeliner in Midnight Cowboy. And this is such a beautiful glitter liner. So this is just really pretty if you want to just do something different. So like you could do, you know, your regular liner like this and then go over top of it, just like on the top of it with this, and it just adds a really pretty like glittery effect. You can also use this as eyeshadow, like glitter eyeshadow, or I did a New Year's Eve look where I used it as like my crease liner, and it's really beautiful. So highly recommend this one. I just think it's such a pretty flattering shade. It's like a gold bronzy color. It's almost like in between a gold, a silver, and a bronze. I don't know, it's just such a unique, pretty color. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to eyeshadow palettes, and I have so many eyeshadow palettes. I don't really know how to categorize this. Maybe I'll just do like drugstore and high-end favorites. So I have way more drugstore than I do high-end ones. So I guess we'll just talk about the high-end ones first. So my 3 favorite high-end palettes from 2018, the Soft Glam palette. So I know that this palette came out earlier this year, and when it first came out, I debated getting this palette or not. Like, I just didn't know. Like, I wanted to get it, but I was like, I have so many neutral palettes. Do I really need it? So I didn't get it at the spring sale. And so I decided that when the fall sale came around, I was going to order it. So I got it, and I have been in love with this ever since. If you love warm toned eyeshadows, you will love this. Like, the formula is so good. Like, they're super pigmented, super easy to blend out. The shimmers are gorgeous. So I love Anastasia's eyeshadows. I just think they are so good. And then this palette here from Anastasia, I almost called it Soft Glam, the Sultry palette. This was another one that I debated, obviously, because it's another neutral palette, but this was cool toned, and it's so hard to find good cool toned eyeshadow palettes, and I knew that this would be one of those palettes that I could use on an everyday basis. Like, I love that it has a warm tone transition and a cool tone transition, and this chocolate brown, a black, a cream. Like, it has everything that I would want in an everyday eyeshadow palette. Not only can you create everyday looks with this, you can create dramatic looks with it, because you know you got your black and the more smoky shades. This palette, I don't know if it's going to stay limited edition, but I know whenever they first came out with it, it was just like a limited edition Christmas palette. So that was another reason why I debated on getting this or not, but I'm so glad that I did, because even if I can't really use it on my channel after a while, I'll still use this all the time because it has shadows that I reach for on a daily basis. Okay, and then my last favorite high-end palette is the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. And I just thought that this palette was so pretty and just perfect for fall. If you really like these cherry tones, I think you will really like this. I did find a somewhat of a dupe to this palette. It's not an exact dupe, but the Rimmel Crimson palette. If you can't afford the Urban Decay, get this if you like these sort of tones. And the Rimmel Crimson palette is actually a little bit more bright, like the reds are brighter in this. So this has more brighter kind of out there colors, where the Urban Decay has colors that, especially here at the beginning, that are more like wearable, more everyday. But I love both of these. I fell in love with this Rimmel Crimson palette and the Rimmel Spice palette. If you love warm tone eyeshadows, I highly recommend these. Like, they are great quality eyeshadows from the drugstore. And I also love like their other eyeshadow palettes, like the Jewel Rocks and the purple one, the Electric Violet, but I tend to use these two the most. Palette that came out at the beginning of this year, the Wet n Wild Rose in the Air palette. This has to be my favorite Wet n Wild palette. I just love it. I don't have the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, but people say that this is a pretty good dupe to that palette, and my packaging broke on this. But this is just a really pretty palette to wear every day. I used this palette today to do this makeup look. I used a different shadow for my lid color, but like my outer V and crease and brow bone color, this is the palette that I used, and I just love the Wet n Wild like matte colors. I just love their matte shadows. I think they are so good. I wish that they hadn't changed the formula of their shimmers though, because like their old shimmer formula was bomb, but I do like their matte formula, and I do really like this palette. It's one of my favorites. Another palette that's kind of similar to this, it kind of has those same modern Renaissance vibes, is the Makeup Revolution Vitality, the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Vitality palette. And these Reloaded palettes, this is the only one that I have, but I want to get more of these because the quality of these eyeshadows are just amazing for the price. Like, this palette is $8 at Ulta. I think it's either 8 or 7. Is it 7? It might be $7 at Ulta, but I just love this palette. I love just the variety of the colors that it has. That it has a pop, like it has pops of cool tones in here, but it also has the warm tone eyeshadows. And this is another one of those palettes that I use on an everyday sort of basis. I love it. A brand that, I mean, I know this brand has been around for a while, but it got popular this year, and I fell in love with so many of their products. I really feel like they improved on their eyeshadows this year or something, but the Pro Fusion eyeshadow palettes, like, they are so good and so affordable. Like, I picked up the Velvet Matte and the Metallics just a couple of months ago, but these are so good, and I know that these are holiday palettes, so I want to mention these in case Target still has these so you can get them, because they are such great quality. Like, if you're looking for just, like, if you're not the type of person that wants to have all this makeup and you just need kind of like the bare essentials type of thing, I think that this matte eyeshadow palette is like the only matte eyeshadow palette that you would need for just, you know, natural, just neutral makeup looks, because it's got your matte black, your matte cream, it's got different shades of lighter colors, you know, you got warm transition, cool transition colors. Like, you've just got everything that you would need in this palette, and the quality of these eyeshadows is just unbelievable for the price. Like, I can't get over how great these palettes are. So if everything disappeared, like eyeshadow wise, in my collection, at least drugstore eyeshadows, these would be the first things that I would get from drugstore eyeshadows, because those are just, I would have to say, those are my favorite drugstore eyeshadows. Like, they really are. And then the Pro Fusion Metallics, this is gorgeous. And this color that I have on the front part of my lid is this shade here called Lively. It's such a pretty, like, champagne pink. I don't know, this palette just has such beautiful colors, and the quality of these eyeshadows are like the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows, but like in a palette, so I just love it. And then there are other palettes that they came out with earlier in the year, the Chocolates and the Pro Pigment. I really like these as well. I don't know, I feel like they've really come like strides with their formula, because I feel like this formula is even better than the shimmers in these palettes. And the mattes, I feel like the mattes are the same, but there's something about the shimmers and this metallics. It's just, So good. We're almost done with the eyeshadows. I just have so many eyeshadow palettes that I love. This palette here, I got it at the beginning of this year, but this is the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette, and this palette is another beautiful palette that has nice, like, intense metallic shimmers in it and nice mattes, and then it has a really beautiful highlight in the middle, and this highlight is a pretty good dupe to the the Becca highlight in, it's not rose quartz, vanilla quartz. It's a good dupe to vanilla quartz. It's such a pretty palette, especially if you like colors, like if you like doing colorful looks. You can still do neutral looks with this, but it's just a really pretty palette. So that's another palette that I really liked in 2018. These two palettes here, I was super surprised at how much I fell in love with these. These are the new e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes, the e.l.f. Opposites Attract and the new Classics. I just love these. The formula of the eyeshadows are so good. The mattes are super easy to blend out. They have very little fallout. And the shimmers are a little tricky, but the mattes in both of these palettes are so nice. And I'm just so impressed by both of these e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes. Like, they are so good. My favorite Milani eyeshadow palette that they came out with this year is this one in Soft and Sultry. I just think that this is such a beautiful, cool toned eyeshadow palette, and I feel like it is so hard to find a good cool toned eyeshadow palette from high-end drugstore. It's like near impossible. There are so many warm tone palettes out there. It's so hard to find something like this. This is a great everyday eyeshadow palette. I mean, you can create some really pretty smoky looks with this, but it's just one of my go-to palettes, you know, for work. Last eyeshadows that I discovered this year, which it was like the beginning of the year and the end of the year, because at the beginning of the year I bought the Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. I picked up these other two palettes. Well, actually Morphe sent me the Boss Mood palette, which I fell in love with. This thing is such a gorgeous palette. Like, it's so different than all the other palettes that I showed you guys today. I just think it's such a beautiful, colorful palette. And I know I keep singing its praises, but it's such an awesome quality palette. Like, this is just as good a quality as the Profusion. Like, the Profusion and Morphe, like, it's the same quality in the eyeshadows and the mattes and the shimmers. So if you love Profusion, you'll love this. If you love Morphe, you'll love Profusion. And then this palette here, which is Fall Into Frost, I ended up buying this one because I liked the Boss Mood palette so much, but this palette is just so pretty. Isn't this like the most gorgeous fall palette? It has mostly shimmer shadows, and then this last row is mattes that you can use, you know, for transition colors or like outer V colors. So I think Morphe, at least their new palettes, are so good. Such great quality. Those two palettes are awesome. This video, whew, man, this took me a while to compile all this stuff. So I hope that this video was helpful, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm almost done with my Best in Beauty. It's just like, there's no way I could have done a Best in Beauty just one video. It would have been insanely long. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this, please give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what your best eyeshadow palettes or eyeshadows or eyeliners were for 2018. If you are new, please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video, which is going to be the last video for the Best in Beauty. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. In about 5 minutes, I'm self-destruct. 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 In about 5 minutes, I'm self-destruct. About 5 minutes, I'm self-destruct. About 5 minutes, I'm self-destruct. About 5 minutes.